I wrote and directed the movie. The movie basically follows two patrolmen in the Olympic Division of the LAPD. Follows them on the course of one night's shift. One of the cops is an older cop, sort of coming to the end of his career, and the other cop is sort of the other side of the same coin, a younger cop coming up. And we sort of we follow these guys as they traverse all these sort of obstacles and dangers on the course of one night.
I played Jack Van Zandt, who's kind of a rogue cop, kind of represents the bad element of the police. The movies doesn't take really a political stance at all, but he's not a great guy. If it's not a traditional script in the way it's formed, and so if there's a antagonist to be had, he's part of it. It's just a really wonderfully written character that I had a ball with. I mean, it was one of those, it's like you almost can't go too big, and that's a lot of fun. And to play not the good guy is really fun too. For me, there's a scene where my character is being extremely violent and out of control and loses it, turns on a dime from being violent to being crying, and it was just exhausting to stay up and do it over and over again for different sizes and on the back of me. And I mean, it was hours I was tired, it was hard to keep up that energy, but still so much fun. So I got to thank this guy for that.
It's interesting. Particularly, there was a scene that Josh's character was in that it's when we first meet him. That was the one that was a little trickier to me because it was a scene that it's a long dialogue scene, and we come off another scene where there was pretty lengthy dialogue, and so it's like, how do we keep the pace there? But beyond that, it was his character is sort of this this bipolar sort of roided out rageaholic. So it's like when you first meet him, you don't want to quite be there yet, but you still need to establish that that's there. So there's this incredible amount of tension underneath everything he's doing. But when we first meet him, he's sitting in a car. And they're talking sort of car to car to the other cops. And it's like, how do we do that? How do we keep tension there? How do we build relationship between him and the other cops that he's talking to? That one was a little tricky, but I was really happy. It was a difficult one for any actor to sort of find the right note, and he nailed it. He absolutely killed it. So there's one scene I come back to, and there's a scene between Thomas Jane and Bridget Moynihan. And it's this sort of very quiet scene in a diner. And she sort of has been under these very difficult circumstances and with drugs, and Thomas and her have sort of a past together. And I had this very specific way I was going to shoot it. I sort of storyboard everything. I'm very obsessive about that. And so I said, I'm going to shoot this very specific way. And then they came in and rehearsed it. And I looked over at our DP, Thomas Stanton, and we just sort of looked at each other and said, well, that's all gone now. We're going to throw everything out and just sort of fly by the seat of our pants and just follow their lead. And so we did, and we just scrapped everything and then followed it because it was such a powerful scene between them. And we sort of got out of their way to a certain extent and just let them sort of tell us what needed to happen camera wise. And I remember just sort of going home that night and just thinking, like, that was a very satisfying day's work as a director when you you make your plan and then somebody kicks the chair out from under you and you can still figure it out. Like, I earned my money today on that one. So
those guys in the patrol car are fantastic, and they control really the pace of the movie, and it's working with them was so much fun. It was all night shoots. Thomas is interesting. He doesn't wear shoes. Yeah, so he's walking around rehearsing on the Buffalo streets with no shoes. I'll remember that for sure. Luke's, a movie star on the rise. That's fun to see. David Krumholtz plays Stroke Adams, and he's my partner, and I've known him a long time, so that was fun. He's so great, and so that was a lot of fun.
You write a script, and if you try, like, I sort of obsessive about writing cops. It's I love it. There's a real sort of shop talk and the jargon, and there's a very sort of specific way they speak, and that either rolls off your tongue or it doesn't. And it was really cool to sort of see that come to life with guys who could sort of do that, where it just, and it sounded legitimate and it sounded authentic, and that was really cool. And then but also the best thing is when they, you write your script and you make your plan, but it's that thing that you didn't anticipate. That neat thing that happens that somebody thought of that wasn't yours, that just makes a scene like way better. And there was a lot of that. I remember that. That was really gratifying.